Let's head to Yankee Stadium in New York and welcome in our colleague Jim Palmer. And Jim, let's start with Chris Tillman. A very good first start this year, not as good last Thursday against the Tigers. And now there's all this talk about a lack of velocity. He says is in part because he's trying to throw more strikes. Now, what about that assessment from him, and how do you see how he's doing?
Well, you know, I mean, I got to trust his judgment if that's indeed what he says. But let's get some things straight. First of all, he pitched very well against Tampa, but again, that's Tampa. You know, they're offensively challenged. Then his next start, 32 pitches in the first inning. A little bit better offensive team against Detroit. Here, you better not be, you know, if you're going to throw 86, 87 miles per hour, which is what he was throwing against the Tigers, you know, occasionally getting to 89, I'm just not sure that that's going to do it. So, you know, hopefully he will use all his pitches. He came up with a cutter last year. But again, I mean, I don't think you can pitch at 88, 87 in the middle of the plate, which is what against the Tigers in Yankee Stadium. And the numbers support that. You know, the interesting thing to me is that he has never beaten an AL East team. He's 0-4, but again, what's the ERA? And we all know how important it is to beat the American League East. His ERA is close to 8 runs a game. So hopefully he will pitch better tonight. But again, sometimes you just got to let the ball go. They're working on his mechanics, guys. And, you know, Mark Connor said it best. He said, I don't know if I've ever fixed anybody in the major league. So let's see if he gets better. And I just don't know if that's going to happen.
Jimmy, let's turn the page a little bit and talk a little bit about the Yankee and the Oriole rivalry. It has all been one-sided over the last couple of years. New York Yankees have dominated the Orioles. But there's a new lineup here now. And really, if you look back at the Yankee rotation, when you had Andy Pettitte in there, 27-6, and CC Sabathia, who's still there but not pitching against the Orioles in this series. What do the Orioles have now that is different from last year that might have an effect on that win-loss record against the Yankees?
Well, they did trade or acquire 950 lifetime home runs. So they get some guys that have been around the block a few times. You know, if you look at the last year, the Yankees won 13 out of 18. The year before, 13 out of 18. Year before, 11 out of 7. Last year, the Orioles were 24-48 against the American League East. Only won 3 of 15 or of 18 games against Toronto. So now all of a sudden you have veteran guys that aren't going to be afraid to come to Yankee Stadium. I mean, at the end of the day, you still have to control their offense. I mean, they average about 5.6 runs a game. They won 52 games here last year. They're 4-2 at home, 1-2 on the road. So this is a team that plays very well here. You can see the numbers. So, you know, I think what we're seeing is that, you know, Tillman's going to have to pitch well. The bullpen's improved. But at the end of the day, it's about starting pitching. And Burnett, you know, he's beaten him 11 times, but with a very high ERA. So if you get the right guys on, 37 stolen bases, there are some things you can do against A.J. Burnett, and hopefully the Orioles will be able to do that.
All right, the thoughts of Jim Palmer. He'll join Gary Thorne for the call tonight as the Orioles and Yankees play an abbreviated 2-game series.